Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleeptide channel. Tonight, we're going to take a long, quiet journey through one of the coziest feelings humans have ever created together. Christmas. Not the rush, not the noise, not the shopping lists or crowded streets, but the soft, glowing heart of it. The lights in the window on a cold night, the gentle smell of something warm in the oven, the hush that falls over a neighborhood when the world slows down for just a moment. This is a journey through the most relaxing and magical Christmas facts to fall asleep to, wrapped in candlelight, snowfall, and distant bells. If you enjoy these peaceful explorations, I invite you to like, subscribe, or leave a gentle thought below. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too, one quiet night at a time. For now, you don't need to do anything. Just let your shoulders loosen. Let your breathing soften. Let your body sink into whatever is holding you, and allow your mind to drift with me into a soft December evening. Let's begin. Christmas is celebrated in countries all over the world, but it never looks exactly the same in any two places. In one town, it might mean snowy roofs and fireplaces. In another, heat, warm air, and open windows. In some places, people walk through streets filled with lanterns and music, while in others, the night is quiet and still, lit only by a few gentle lights in the distance. The same word carries thousands of different scenes, shaped by climate, culture, and memory, like a single melody played on countless instruments. The tradition of decorating with evergreen plants at this time of year is older than the word Christmas itself. Long before cities, shops, or electric lights, people noticed that while most trees lost their leaves and seemed to fall asleep in winter, certain plant spines, firs, and holly stayed green and alive. They brought branches of these evergreens into their homes to remind themselves that life would return, that spring would come back. The evergreen became a quiet promise, glowing softly in the middle of the darkest season. In many cultures, candles were once the main symbol of winter hope. Before electricity, the world at night was truly dark, and a single flame could transform a room. People would place candles in windows, not just for light, but as a sign of welcome, a beacon for travelers passing through the cold. One small flickering light could say, "There is warmth here. There is safety here. You are not alone." That spirit still lingers in the way we hang little bulbs along roofs and windows today, turning entire streets into rivers of tiny stars. The familiar scent of Christmas pine, cinnamon, baked bread, chocolate, citrus, and smoke forms its own invisible tradition. Even with closed eyes, many people can tell that the season has arrived just by breathing in. Cinnamon and clove, once rare spices, were treasured luxuries brought from faraway lands, sprinkled into drinks and sweets on special days. As these scents drifted through old kitchens and wooden halls, they wound themselves into human memory, so that now, centuries later, a single whiff of cinnamon can set off a whole chain of warmth, nostalgia, and comfort. In some countries, people celebrate Christmas in the middle of summer. While snow falls in one part of the world, the sun shines over beaches and green hills in another. There are Christmas barbecues under bright skies, outdoor gatherings, and warm ocean breezes where carols float across the water instead of through snowy air. Yet even there, lights are hung, stories are told, and families gather together. The season becomes less about weather and more about the feeling of pausing, of being together, of honoring light, whether that light comes from candles or from the high summer sun. The tradition of exchanging gifts has roots in many different stories and customs. Old legends speak of wise visitors bringing meaningful objects to a child, and of friends and neighbors sharing food, clothing, or small comforts to help one another through difficult winters. Over time, these stories blurred together, and the simple act of placing something thoughtful in someone else's hands became part of the holiday. The most meaningful gifts have rarely been the biggest or brightest, but the ones that say, quietly, "I see you." I know you. I wanted to bring you a moment of joy. In many European towns, Christmas markets transform city squares into glowing villages of light. Wooden stalls line cobblestone streets, decorated with greenery and soft garlands. Warm drinks steam in the cold air, and the sound of soft music and laughter drifts between booths full of handmade ornaments, candles, toys, and sweets. For centuries, these markets have served as gathering places where neighbors meet, travelers pause, and strangers share a moment of warmth in the open air. The idea of hanging stockings near a fire has its own gentle legend. In one version, it's said that a kind but struggling family hung their stockings to dry, unaware that someone had quietly left small gifts inside during the night. The humble resting place for worn socks and simple clothing became a secret doorway for surprises. Even now, when stockings appear on mantels and banisters, they carry the hidden hope that something small and unexpected might be waiting inside, just for you. Bells have long been part of winter celebrations. In older times, they were rung to mark the changing of seasons, to call people together, or to symbolically drive away the deep darkness of midwinter nights. On cold air, the sound of a bell travels clearly, shimmering across fields and rooftops. During Christmas, their tones soften into something calm and reassuring, a reminder that time keeps moving, that the year is turning, and that light will soon grow stronger again. In many homes, the Christmas tree is the quiet heart of the season. A single tree brought inside or set in a special place becomes a small universe of memories. Ornaments are often not just decorations, but tiny stories, gifts from a friend, souvenirs from a trip, something handmade by a child years ago. As the lights reflect softly off glass and metal, each ornament holds a moment from another time, so that the tree becomes a living archive of joy, sadness, hope, and growth, all gathered into one gentle, glowing shape. The tradition of caroling, or walking from house to house singing, began as a way of carrying warmth from door to door. When nights were long and cold, groups of people would bundle themselves in cloaks and scarves and move through the dark streets, their voices weaving together into simple harmonies. Each song carried not only melody, but also companionship. The knock on a door, followed by familiar music, said, "We're thinking of you. We passed by to bring a little light to your night." In some parts of the world, Christmas is closely tied to stars. Clear winter skies make constellations seem brighter, sharper, as if they've stepped closer for a moment. Old stories tell of travelers guided by a single star, and to this day, many decorations feature a shining point of light at the top of a tree or in a window. The star became a symbol of guidance, of direction, of something higher and steady in the sky when everything on the ground feels uncertain. Christmas foods are different in every country, yet they share a common thread. They are nearly always warm, rich, and meant to be shared. There are spiced cakes and fruit breads, slow-cooked stews, roasted vegetables, and creamy desserts. In some places, citrus fruits become a treasure in winter, their bright color like captured sunlight. In others, nuts, dates, or dried fruit stand in for fresh produce, preserved from earlier seasons. Every dish becomes a small act of gratitude for whatever the land provided, carefully prepared and offered to loved ones, gathered around a table. The act of sending cards during the season grew from simple letters that traveled between distant friends and family. Before instant messages and digital screens, people would sit down with pen and paper, thinking of someone far away. They would write a few kind words, fold the paper, and trust it to the slow journey across roads, rails, or sea. The envelope itself was a tiny vessel carrying time and care. Modern cards, whether physical or digital, still echo this intention. A moment set aside just to say, "You were in my thoughts." In some northern countries, Christmas is deeply intertwined with snow and silence. When snow falls thickly over fields and rooftops, it muffles the sharp edges of the world. Sounds grow softer, footfalls quiet, and even busy streets appear to slow. Many people associate this hush with a kind of sacred calm, walking outside at night while snow is gently falling, with warm light spilling out of distant windows. Can feel like stepping into a world where time moves slower and the ordinary rules of noise and busyness are temporarily suspended. In warmer regions, the magic is found not in snow, but in starlit skies and open doors. People may gather outside late into the night, under palm trees or flowering plants, sharing food, music, and stories in the gentle air. Decorations might involve flowers, lanterns, and vibrant colors. Yet the emotion is strikingly similar: a sense of togetherness, of joy, of pausing the everyday rhythm of life to mark a special moment as the year nears its end. Many families around the world create their own small traditions that exist nowhere else. A certain movie that is watched every year, a particular cookie recipe that only appears in December, a quiet walk taken on the same night. These repeated actions become threads binding years together. The details may be small, but the repetition gives them weight, turning them into anchors of stability in an ever-changing world. The sound of softly played Christmas music can be profoundly soothing, especially late at night. Simple melodies played on piano, guitar, or gentle strings drift through the air like warm breath on cold glass. For many people, these songs carry layers of memory: the first time they heard them, who they were with, where they were living at the time. The music becomes more than notes. It becomes a bridge between many different versions of ourselves across the years. The custom of placing presents under a tree is rich with symbolic echoes. The tree itself stands for life that continues even in the coldest season. Beneath it, wrapped objects wait in stillness, hiding their contents beneath simple paper. The time between placing a gift and opening it is a quiet period of possibility, where imagination fills in the unknown. That tingle of anticipation, gently wondering what might be inside, is a small, harmless reminder of how curiosity and patience can coexist. In some traditions, light plays a central role in the weeks leading up to Christmas. People may light one candle each week, gradually increasing the brightness in their homes as the date draws near. The first small flame seems modest, almost fragile, but by the final week, several candles glowed together, casting soft patterns of shadow and gold on walls and ceilings. It becomes a visual story about hope slowly growing in the midst of darkness. Across Europe and Latin America, nativity scenes are arranged with care on tables, mantels, or even public displays. These scenes might be very simple: a few small figures carved from wood, or incredibly detailed, with miniature houses, rivers, fields, and tiny lanterns. Some families add a new figure each year, or rearrange the scene as a quiet ritual. For many, this small world of figure eights becomes a gentle reminder of humility, simplicity, and the idea that important things can begin in very small, quiet places. The tradition of hanging wreaths on doors has roots in ancient symbols of victory, eternity, and welcome. The circle shape, with no beginning or end, suggests continuity and unbroken life. When made from evergreen branches, berries, or dried flowers, a wreath becomes like a small crown for the home, saying silently to anyone passing by, "You're invited into a place of warmth. You're welcome here during this cold and busy time." In some cultures, Christmas Eve holds even more emotional weight than Christmas Day itself. As the last daylight fades, people light candles, attend midnight gatherings, share late meals, or simply sit quietly with their families. There is a feeling of waiting, of standing at the doorway between one kind of time and another. The night becomes a threshold, holding stillness and expectation in the same gentle breath. The familial figures associated with winter holidays, whether dressed in red coats, long cloaks, or regional garments, come from a blend of stories that have merged together over centuries. Generous bishops, kind mythical spirits, forest protectors, and folklore characters all contributed traits to the modern image. Behind the bright colors and cheerful faces lies a central idea that somewhere in the dark and cold, there is kindness moving quietly from house to house, thinking about children, the lonely, and the forgotten. In places where oceans meet the land, Christmas lights sometimes reflect on the surface of the water. Strings of color-line harbors, piers, and boats. And at night, the reflections ripple gently with the waves. From a distance, it can look as though pieces of the sky have settled onto the sea, swaying back and forth as the tide moves. For people standing by the shore, this meeting of light and water can feel deeply peaceful, like a moving painting made just for that one quiet night. Many Christmas traditions are connected to the cycle of the sun. In the northern hemisphere, the holiday falls just after the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. From that point on, the days slowly begin to lengthen again. Even if many people aren't consciously thinking about the solstice, the ancient pattern is still there in the background. A celebration placed just where the darkness is deepest, when the return of light is about to begin. Children around the world experience this season with a special intensity. For them, the world seems full of secret possibilities. Footsteps on the roof, whispered stories, hidden surprises, and small miracles. Even something simple, like switching on a string of lights, can feel magical. The wonder that children feel often reminds adults of how they once saw the world, before everything became familiar. In this way, Christmas becomes not only a holiday, but also a time machine, letting people revisit the way they once felt about mystery, generosity, and hope. During the season, many people find themselves thinking of those who are no longer physically present: family members, old friends, loved ones who have passed away. Memories of shared meals, laughter around tables, and simple gestures surface more easily when the house is decorated and the air smells of familiar spices. The holiday becomes not only about what is happening now, but also about all the times it has happened before. Inti Sensei Christmas gently gathers the living and the remembered into the same quiet room. Some people mark the season by engaging in acts of generosity, often anonymously. They might leave food packages at someone's door, pay for a stranger's meal, or donate warm clothes and blankets. These small, unseen acts echo the deeper meaning of the season, the idea that light can be given and received without expectation of reward, simply because it makes the world a little softer, a little kinder. In cities, when evening falls during the Christmas season, office lights dim and the glow of decorations becomes more noticeable. Tall buildings may display illuminated trees or stars in their lobby windows. Street lamps cast pools of light on pavement where wreaths and ribbons hang. People hurry home through the chilly air, carrying bags and boxers, their breath visible in front of them. For a brief time, even busy urban streets take on a dreamlike quality, as if wrapped in a shared hush. In many homes, there is a quiet moment when all the other lights are turned off, leaving only the tree or a few candles glowing. The room is painted in soft gold and deep blue shadows. Time seems too slow. People may sit with a warm drink, listening to the faint hum of a heater, the ticking of a clock, or distant sounds outside. In that stillness, the decorations stop being objects and become something like gentle companions, each one watching over the room as the night deepens. Snow globes, with their tiny frozen scenes and swirling flurries, are like small, captured dreams of Christmas. When someone picks one up and shakes it gently, the flakes inside drift slowly over miniature houses, trees, and tiny figures. For a few moments, an entire world exists inside a glass sphere. Forever winter, forever calm. Watching the snow settle in a globe can be strangely relaxing, like watching thoughts drift down and rest at the bottom of the mind. The colors we most often associate with Christmas: deep reds, rich greens, soft golds, and snowy white carry their own quiet symbolism. Green whispers of life that persists. Red speaks of warmth and warmth of the heart. Gold recalls preciousness and light. White suggests quiet, purity, and fresh beginnings. Together, these colors form a palette that feels both rich and gentle, wrapping the season in a visual language that speaks even when no one says a word. In some cultures, people set an extra plate at the table for an unexpected guest, a traveler, or a loved one who cannot be present. The empty place is not truly empty. It is filled with welcome, with memory, and with a kind of invisible embrace. This silent gesture says, if you were here, this would be for you. You are remembered. You are wanted. In quiet neighborhoods, it is common for people to take evening walks just to look at the lights. They zip their coats, wrap scarves around their necks, and wander slowly past decorated houses. Some roofs sparkle with tiny white bulbs, others glow with colorful patterns, and a few are barely lit at all. The simple act of walking through this nightly gallery of light can be soothing, like flipping through a book of softly glowing pages under the open sky. Sometimes, the most peaceful Christmas moments happen not during gatherings, but just before or after them. The quiet in the kitchen after everyone has left, the sound of a fridge humming softly as plates rest inside, wrapping paper folded or recycled, chairs pushed back under tables. The house, though still, seems to hold a gentle echo of conversation and laughter, like warmth lingering in the air after a candle has been blown out. In many places, the season brings with it a sense of shared story. Even people who do not celebrate the holiday in a religious sense are still surrounded by familiar narratives. Tales of generosity, redemption, reunion, and transformation. Movies, songs, books, and plays retell these themes again and again. As they do, they reinforce the idea that, for a little while, each year, the world leans more toward kindness, forgiveness, and starting again. As the night deepens and you drift further into rest, you might imagine a small town at Christmas, seen from above. Tiny houses with lit windows, roads dusted with snow or glistening with rain, a few late-night walkers moving slowly along the sidewalk. Somewhere, a single candle still burns in a window. Somewhere, a tree glows softly in a darkened room. Somewhere, a quiet song plays just loud enough for one person to hear. All of these scenes happen at once, scattered across the world, like little islands of warmth in a wide, sleeping sea. And as our gentle journey through the most relaxing and magical Christmas facts continues in your mind, you don't need to follow every detail anymore. You can simply feel the overall softness of it all. The lights, the warmth, the snow or the stars, the stories and traditions gathered over centuries. Let them blend together into a calm, comforting haze. If you enjoyed this peaceful exploration, you're always welcome to return, to listen again, or to discover new journeys here. For now, let your breath settle into an easy rhythm. Let your thoughts drift further and further away from the concerns of the day. The tree lights are dimming. The last candle is quietly flickering. The night is wrapping you in a gentle, protective silence. You are safe. You are warm. You are allowed to rest. Good night. Blocked to the gentle origins of Christmas lights. Christmas lights, soft and twinkling, feel as though they have always belonged to winter nights. But their story stretches far deeper than electricity or decorations. Long before strings of bulbs shimmered along rooftops, people gathered around the warm glow of simple flames. In ancient villages, hundreds of years before modern celebrations, families placed small fires or oil lamps near their windows during the darkest nights of the year. The light was not just practical, it carried meaning. It symbolized hospitality, hope, and the promise that no traveler would be left wandering through the cold. Imagine walking down a silent winter path with snow crunching beneath your feet, and seeing a single flame flickering through the frost-speckled glass of a cottage. That small glow would have felt like an invitation, a sign that warmth and safety existed somewhere in the darkness. When candles became more common, people began using them in new ways. They placed them on tables, along mantelpieces, and even among the branches of evergreen trees. It sounds dangerous to us now, but families once balanced small candles on tree limbs with melted wax or tiny metal clips. The effect, though brief, was mesmerizing. Golden flames flickering against green needles, casting dancing shadows across walls and ceilings. For a few moments each year, the entire room shimmered as if touched by magic. People gathered quietly around these lit trees, watching the reflections glow in ornaments made of glass, tin, or polished fruit. The risk was great, but the beauty even greater. A short-lived spectacle of living fire inside a winter home. Over time, as technology advanced, inventors sought a safer way to capture that same glow. In the late 1800s, the first electric Christmas tree lights appeared. They were rare at first, used mainly by those who could afford such a novelty. But slowly, they began to spread. Early strings were often multicolored, made of delicate glass bulbs tinted in soft hues of red, blue, green, and amber. Families would gather around the tree, not just to admire the ornaments, but to marvel at the shimmering bulb's tiny stars brought indoors, twinkling without smoke or fear. Children would sit close to the tree, mesmerized by how the light seemed alive, breathing warmth into the room. For many, it felt like a small miracle. The quiet beauty of candlelight with the safety of electric flame. As Christmas lights evolved, they became more than decorations. They became part of the season's emotional landscape. In Somatans, entire streets began stringing lights along wooden fences, lampposts, and rooftops. Suddenly, a walk through the neighborhood on a cold December night felt like wandering through a forest of artificial stars. People opened their curtains so passers-by could glimpse the gentle glow from their living rooms. Light spread from home to home, until whole communities shared a luminous tapestry that softened the winter darkness. Even today, those lights flickering in rows across suburban streets carry that same quiet message. You are not alone in the night. Christmas lights also traveled across cultures and climates. In snowy regions, they shine against blanketed rooftops, casting subtle halos on fresh snow. In warmer places, they wrap around palm trees, balconies, and open-air porches, glowing against deep green leaves and warm night air. The contrast is striking. One place, reflecting light off icy surfaces, another glowing under tropical skies, but both share the same essence. The lights become a signal of joy, of gathering, of celebration that transcends weather and geography. No matter where they appear, they bring people closer to one another, illuminating spaces with gentle color and warmth. In many households, hanging the lights is a tradition all its own. There is something almost ceremonial about untangling the strings, checking each bulb, and deciding where they will glow this year. Families often do this together, laughing as they wrap the cord around the tree, or step outside to hang lights along the roofline. The ritual itself becomes part of the magic. The final moment when the switch is flipped and the lights softly awaken feels like a breath of wonder rising from the entire home. The room transforms instantly, shadows turning gold, corners glowing gently, and everything taking on a sense of warmth and peace. One of the most touching aspects of Christmas lights is how deeply they connect to memory. Many people remember the exact look of lights from their childhood homes, their colors, their patterns, the sound of the room, even the scent of the tree beneath them. These memories stay with us long after the lights themselves have faded. A certain shade of blue or a warm amber glow can transport us instantly back to a moment long past. Sitting with siblings by the tree, visiting grandparents, or quietly watching snow fall outside while the lights flickered warmly behind us. These lights become emotional anchors, carrying fragments of time that rest gently in our minds. In Somos Sitios, Christmas lights turn entire streets into illuminated pathways. Public squares glow with thousands of tiny bulbs arranged into shaped stars, snowflakes, arches, and even tunnels of light that people walk beneath. Couples stroll hand in hand under shimmering canopies. Children run ahead, laughing as they point to glowing sculptures. The world feels transformed, soft, as though the lights have woven a curtain between the everyday and the magical. For a few weeks each year, ordinary streets become wonderlands. And perhaps the most peaceful image of all is the sight of a single home glowing softly at night. Lights twinkling in the quiet dark, while everything else sleeps. Through the window, if you imagine it, a tree stands calm in the corner, its lights blinking slowly like a heartbeat. The room beyond is still, peaceful, waiting. Outside, the air is cool, maybe filled with snow, maybe filled with stars. And at that moment, the Christmas lights small, Genta unhurried remind us of something simple and beautiful. Even in the darkest seasons, even during the longest nights, humans have always chosen to bring light into the world. Block 3. The cozy magic of Christmas scents. Christmas has a way of filling the air with fragrances that seem to wrap around us like a soft blanket, turning ordinary rooms into havens of comfort and memory. These scents are so gentle yet so powerful that even a single breath can transport someone years into the past or across continents to distant winters they have never seen. The magic of Christmas scents lies not only in what they smell like, but in how they linger in the mind, drifting quietly through the season like invisible threads woven through time. One of the oldest aromas tied to winter is the scent of evergreen branches. Long before modern decorations existed, people gathered pine, fir, and spruce boughs and placed them inside their homes. The fragrance of resin, cool and crisp, brought a sense of the forest indoors. Even now, the smell of a fresh Christmas tree can transform a room instantly. It reminds us of deep woods, of cold mornings, of nature holding steady through winter. The aroma is both grounding and uplifting, like breathing and a reminder that life continues quietly beneath the frost. Cinnamon is another scent that drifts through the season with its warm, spicy embrace. Its fragrance is gentle but unmistakable, small spark of heat in the cold. Hundreds of years ago, cinnamon was rare and precious, carried across deserts and seas before arriving in winter kitchens. People saved it for special days, adding it to warm drinks and baked treats as a way to create moments of celebration. Over time, the scent of cinnamon became anchored to comfort and joy. Today it rises from cups of cider, from holiday pastries, from gently simmering pots on stovetops, filling homes with warmth that feels almost like a soft hug. Alongside cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg bring their own deep, soothing aromas. These spices were once symbols of luxury, and to smell them was to be reminded that something meaningful was happening. Their rich, dark fragrances blend into drinks, cookies, and slow-cooked dishes, creating layers of warmth that curl through living rooms and kitchens. When these spices drift through the air, they mingle with a sense of tradition, humble ingredients that have carried winter comfort from one century to the next. The scent of oranges, surprisingly bright in winter, adds a gentle spark of sunlight to the season. In colder regions, citrus fruits were once cherished gifts. Their fragrance cut through the heaviness of winter with its freshness, like holding a small piece of summer in your hands. Families would stud oranges with cloves, creating fragrant pomanders that filled homes with a sweet, spicy perfume. Even now, the bright scent of peeled orange drifting through a quiet December afternoon can feel like a moment of unexpected joy, a tiny burst of light in the middle of a long, dark season. Then there is the smell of baking, one of the most comforting scents ever associated with Christmas. Freshly baked bread, warm rolls, ginger cookies, fruit cakes, chocolate pastries. These aromas create an atmosphere that feels both nurturing and nostalgic. Baking requires time, patience, and attention, and the warmth of an oven spreading through the house makes the whole home feel alive. The scent of dough rising, sugar caramelizing, spices warming all of it, gathers into clouds of gentle fragrance that drift into hallways, bedrooms, and living rooms, wrapping the home in a sense of abundance and care. Another deeply soothing fragrance is that of wood smoke curling from fireplaces or candles. The soft crackle of burning wood, the faint scent of ash and heat, the glow of embers. These sensations have comforted humans for thousands of years. In winter, wood smoke feels like a lullaby hidden in the air. It softens the edges of the night, turning cold evenings into cozy sanctuaries. Even candles, though smaller, carry a similar magic. Their warm wax and subtle fragrances drift through rooms and calm the mind, adding a gentle layer of relaxation to quiet nights. Vanilla, with its sweet warmth, has also become tied to Christmas comfort. Whether rising from a baking dish or a softly scented candle, vanilla carries a softness that feels safe and familiar. It blends seamlessly with other aromas, smoothing out the sharper notes of spices and creating fragrances that feel round, gentle, and soothing. Its presence in the air can make a room feel instantly calmer, like settling into a favorite blanket after a long day. In some countries, the scent of mulled wine fills the season. Red wine warmed with spices, citrus peels, and honey creates an aroma that drifts through winter markets and outdoor gatherings. People hold warm cups between their hands, letting the heat rise toward their faces, breathing in the rich fragrance that blends fruit, spice, and warmth. Even for those who don't drink it, the scent, alone floating through cold air, can create a moment of deep seasonal comfort. Fresh snow itself carries a scent, gentle and clean, though hard to describe. On quiet nights when snow is falling softly, the air takes on a crispness that feels pure and still. People often say they can smell snow coming, and though the phrase sounds poetic, there is truth in it. The cold air shifts, becoming sharper, quieter, tinged with a faint mineral perfume carried by winter winds. Breathing it in brings a feeling of calm, as if the world were inhaling deeply with you. What makes Christmas scents magical is how they blend together. A room lit by candles might carry the faint aroma of wax, mixed with the smell of pine from the tree. In the kitchen, cinnamon and vanilla drift out to meet the cold freshness coming through a door just opened to gather firewood. This mixture becomes the fragrance of the season, not one scent alone, but many layered softly through the home. And perhaps the most touching part of all is how scents tie us to memory. A certain combination, cinnamon and pine, or citrus and spice, or warm baking and faint wood smoke, can bring back moments from childhood with startling clarity. The brain remembers scents long after all else fades, and Christmas fragrances often linger in a special place in our minds. They remind us of people we've loved, homes we've lived in, winters we've experienced, and seasons that shaped us. They are gentle messengers carrying pieces of time across years. Christmas scents do more than fill the air, they soften the world. They turn rooms into cocoons. They quiet the mind. They let us breathe a little slower. During the season, they drift around us like whispers of comfort, weaving together tradition, warmth, and memory. In their presence, even the coldest night feels a little warmer. Block 4. The gentle glow of Christmas lights. Christmas lights have a way of softening the world, turning even the coldest nights into warm landscapes of color and quiet wonder. Their glow is gentle, never rushing, never demanding attention, but always inviting the mind to slow down. They cast small halos onto windows, reflect off snow, and shimmer softly in the darkness, creating little pockets of peace wherever they shine. The presence of these lights feels timeless, as though the world has been draped in starlight brought down to earth. Long before modern decorations existed, people lit candles during the winter months to bring comfort into the darkness. The season's long nights felt heavy, and the simple flame of a candle became a symbol of warmth, hope, and safety. That tradition has carried through centuries, evolving into strings of lights that wrap around trees and rooftops, yet the intention has remained the same: to push back the quiet weight of winter darkness with soft, glowing warmth. Even now, when people flip a switch to illuminate a strand of lights, something ancient awakens, a small sense of comfort that feels deeper than words. One of the most magical qualities of Christmas lights is their variety. Some glow in warm golden tones, echoing the softness of candles. Others shimmer in cool blues and whites, like fragments of frozen starlight scattered through the air. Multicolored lights add gentle bursts of joy, creating patterns that dance across branches and walls. There is something deeply soothing about these colors, especially when they flicker softly rather than flash brightly. Their slow, steady gleam invites relaxation, turning ordinary rooms into tranquil havens. When lights are placed on a Christmas tree, the effect becomes even more comforting. The glow filters through branches, creating subtle shadows and shimmering highlights that shift gently when the tree moves. Ornaments reflect these lights in tiny, delicate sparkles, little galaxies scattered across the surface of glass, metal, or wood. The tree becomes a quiet landscape of light and shadow, a miniature world where everything feels safe, peaceful, and beautifully still. Sitting near a softly lit tree can feel like resting beside a campfire from another realm, warm but silent, inviting calm without needing to say a word. Outdoors, Christmas lights transform entire neighborhoods. On winter evenings, houses gently illuminated with strands of color create a sense of unity and shared warmth. Even people who do not know one another feel connected through the simple act of decorating. The lights glow against frosted windows, rooftops dusted with snow, and quiet streets, turning cold nights into scenes that resemble living storybooks. Walking along a decorated street can feel like journeying through a dream, each house offering a different expression of comfort, each light adding to the quiet tapestry of winter beauty. In some places, people decorate entire trees outside, turning bare branches into glowing sculptures. When the wind blows, the lights sway gently, creating ripples of brightness that shimmer like reflections on water. If snow begins to fall, each flake catches tiny flashes of light as it drifts downward, making the air itself sparkle. These moments feel almost suspended in time, as though the world has paused to admire its own beauty. Inside homes, Christmas lights often hang along mantels, windows, stair rails, and cozy corners. When everything else is quiet, their glow becomes a gentle presence, soft enough to calm the mind, bright enough to warm the room. Some people keep a single strand lit during the evening, using its warmth as a companion during quiet moments of reading, resting, or simply breathing. The lights cast small reflections on walls and floors, creating patterns that never repeat exactly, always shifting in slow, calming movements. Watching these reflections can be surprisingly soothing, like observing ocean waves or drifting clouds. There's also something beautiful about the sound associated with Christmas lights, not from the lights themselves, but from the environment they create. Rooms lit only by soft light seem quieter, almost padded in silence. Conversations become gentle. Footsteps soften. Even thoughts feel calmer, drifting through the mind like slow-moving streams. The glow changes not just the appearance of a space, but its atmosphere. It encourages deep breaths, slow movements, and a kind of restfulness that is rare during busy seasons. One of the most touching aspects of Christmas lights is how they bring people together. Families gather around decorated trees. Friends walk through illuminated parks. Couples stand on porches, watching lights twinkle as snow falls around them. Even strangers driving through neighborhoods share a moment of quiet appreciation when they pass by a beautifully lit home. The lights remind us that beauty can be simple, that wonder can be found in ordinary places, and that even in long winters, warmth can be created through small, glowing gestures. For many people, Christmas lights stir memories from years long past. Maybe it was a childhood evening spent staring at a tree in the dark, or a winter walk past houses adorned with tiny glowing diamonds. Maybe it was a late night gathering with family, when only the tree lights remained lit and conversations softened into comfortable silence. These moments return when the lights appear each year, carried on the soft glow that drifts through rooms and settles into the heart. Christmas lights also hold symbolic meaning across cultures. They represent guidance, hope, renewal, and warmth. They remind us that even the smallest source of light can change the atmosphere of a whole space. A single candle, a single strand of lights, or a single glowing ornament can soften a harsh night. In that sense, Christmas lights are more than decorations. They are reminders that gentle warmth has a place even in the darkest seasons. What makes Christmas lights especially magical is how they interact with the night. Against the deep stillness of December evenings, their glow feels almost alive. Light appears brighter when the world around it is dark, making each bulb seem like a tiny star descended from the sky. This contrast creates the enchantment that defines the season. Not lights overpowering darkness, but lights coexisting with it, softening it, transforming it into something peaceful and serene. In the quiet of night, when the world outside has grown cold and calm, Christmas lights continue to glow patiently. They do not rush. They do not compete. They simply shine, offering comfort to anyone who takes a moment to pause and breathe. Their presence is gentle, steady, and filled with serenity. They remind us that even during winter, even during long nights, something warm and welcoming remains. And in that glow, we find rest. Block 5. The secret stories behind Christmas traditions. Christmas is filled with traditions so familiar that they seem woven into winter itself. Yet behind each custom lies a quiet story, often stretching across centuries, cultures, and lands. These traditions carry memories of distant worlds, forgotten rituals, and ancient hopes, threads of history wrapped gently around the holiday season. When we slow down and explore where these traditions came from, they reveal a warm, delicate tapestry of human connection, shaped by generations who sought comfort in the coldest time of the year. One of the oldest traditions is the act of bringing greenery indoors. Long before Christmas existed, people living in northern regions placed evergreen branches inside their homes during the darkest days of winter. The deep green color symbolized life, persisting in spite of the cold, a promise that spring would eventually return. Over time, these branches transformed into the modern Christmas tree. Each ornament and glimmering light added today is another layer of meaning placed on top of this ancient desire to keep hope alive through winter darkness. Christmas stockings also carry stories from the past. Their origin comes from a tale of generosity and quiet kindness. According to legend, a compassionate man learned of a family so poor that the daughters had no resources for their future. Wanting to help without drawing attention to himself, he slipped gold coins down their chimney. The coins fell into stockings that had been hung by the fire to dry. When people heard the story, they began hanging their own stockings, hoping for blessings and celebrating the idea that kindness can arrive softly, without expectation or reward. Today, stockings remain a gentle reminder of the quiet miracles that generosity can create. The tradition of exchanging gifts traces back to multiple cultures, each contributing a piece to the modern custom. In some ancient celebrations, people exchanged simple tokens during winter festivals as signs of goodwill. Later, Christian traditions connected gift-giving to the story of wise travelers offering precious items to a newborn child. Over centuries, this merged with folklore, family customs, and local legends to form the joyful practice we know today. Whether wrapped in ribbon or slipped gently into a stocking, a gift becomes more than an object. It is a whisper of affection, a small bridge between hearts. Even the simple act of sharing a meal during Christmas holds deep significance. Historically, winter was a harsh season, and gatherings around a table provided warmth and reassurance. Families cooked special dishes using ingredients saved for the most important days. These meals were moments of gratitude, celebrations of surviving another year and of facing the cold season together. Today, holiday meals still carry that sense of unity. The aroma of baked treats, savory dishes, and warm drinks drifts through homes, echoing centuries of comfort created by shared food. Caroling has its own quiet evolution. In ancient times, people sang to celebrate the winter solstice, marking the moment when days began to grow longer again. These earliest songs celebrated light returning to the world. Later, sacred hymns and community melodies merged into what we now call Christmas carols. Groups walked from house to house, not only to sing, but to share warmth with neighbors during the coldest nights of the year. Even now, carols carry a unique gentleness, voices rising into the crisp winter air, offering a moment of togetherness to all who listen. The figure of Santa Claus also carries layers of history, inspired by a compassionate bishop known for helping those in need. Stories about a gift-bringing guardian spread from one culture to another. Over time, legends blended with folklore from the North, tales of kind beings who traveled through winter skies, delivering small miracles in the quiet of night. Today's image of Santa is a warm, comforting symbol, wrapped in red, echoing centuries of stories about generosity, hope, and the joy of giving. Another treasured tradition is the holiday wreath. Its circular shape has long represented continuity, a reminder that even as seasons change, life moves in cycles. The evergreens woven into wreaths symbolize strength in winter, while added candles or ribbons bring light and color to dark days. Hung on doors or placed in homes, wreaths have become gentle invitations, welcoming all who step inside with warmth and peace. The use of bells is another tradition with deep roots. In old villages, bells rang during the winter season to ward off the heaviness of darkness and to mark moments of celebration. Their sound carried across snowy fields, echoing through crisp air with a brightness that lifted spirits. Bells later became part of Christmas music, adding shimmering notes that reflect both joy and serenity. Even the faint sound of a bell during the season can stir a sense of nostalgia and quiet happiness. Christmas cards, though modern compared to ancient customs, also carry a special softness. They began as simple notes exchanged between friends, offering warm wishes during the coldest part of the year. Over time, these notes grew into illustrated cards, small pieces of art that traveled long distances. Today, even a single handwritten message in a card can brighten someone's season, reminding them that they are remembered, cherished, and held gently in the thoughts of others. The tradition of lighting candles during Christmas has held steady across time. From ancient winter rituals to modern celebrations, the candle flame has symbolized guidance and hope. Candles glow with a quiet intensity, offering comfort in darkness. Their presence transforms rooms into sanctuaries of calm, where shadows soften and thoughts drift lightly. Whether placed on tables, windows, or mantles, candles continue to embody the season's gentle invitation to rest, reflect, and breathe slowly. Even the habit of hanging ornaments carries meaning. Early decorations included fruits, nuts, or small handcrafted items. Each symbolized abundance, gratitude, or blessings. As glassmaking developed, artisans shaped ornaments into delicate spheres that reflected candlelight in mesmerizing patterns. Today's ornaments continue this tradition of symbolism. Some represent memories, others milestones, and many simply capture beauty for its own sake. Each ornament added to a tree becomes part of a living gallery of personal history. And then there is mistletoe, one of the most mysterious winter traditions. Considered magical in ancient cultures, it was believed to bring harmony and protection. Over centuries, its symbolism shifted, becoming a gentle emblem of affection and connection. Today, A sprig of mistletoe hanging in the doorway is a quiet invitation for warmth, kindness, and shared joy. Each of these traditions, whether ancient or modern, holds a soft glow within it. They remind us that across time, humans have always sought to create warmth during winter's cold. Every candle lit, every ornament hung, every meal shared, and every song sung becomes part of a much larger story, one woven by countless hands and carried forward by each new generation. Christmas traditions do more than decorate the season. They gather memories into the present. They bring comfort through repetition, stability through ritual, and connection through shared moments. They whisper that even through the longest nights, humanity has always found ways to create light. Block 6. The soft beauty of winter weather. Winter has a way of slowing the world down, covering landscapes in a quiet stillness that feels both peaceful and profound. During the Christmas season, this gentle transformation becomes part of the atmosphere of comfort we so often seek. Winter weather, soft snowfalls, crisp mornings, frosty windows, and long, tranquil nights creates the perfect backdrop for reflection, rest, and warm memories. Each element of winter carries its own quiet story, shaping the rhythm of the season with subtle beauty. Snow is perhaps the most iconic feature of winter's gentle charm. When it begins to fall, the world seems to pause. Each flake drifts slowly, swirling through the air like tiny feathers floating down from a silent sky. Snow has a way of softening everything it touches. Roads, rooftops, branches, fences all lose their edges beneath a blanket of white. Even sound changes when snow settles. Footsteps become muffled, voices soften, and distant noises fade into the background. The world becomes hushed, as though wrapped in its own protective layer of calm. The beauty of snow lies not just in its silence, but in its delicate detail. No two snowflakes share the same pattern. Each carries a unique geometry shaped by cold, moisture, and the wind's gentle guidance. If one looks closely enough, the crystal structure reveals a miniature world of symmetry and artistry. Snowflakes glisten under street lamps and shimmer in the early morning sun, turning ordinary landscapes into scenes of quiet magic. Frost is another winter wonder that brings subtle beauty. On cold mornings, windows become canvases brushed with icy patterns. Fern-like crystals stretch across the glass, forming shapes that resemble ancient forests or delicate lace. These frost designs, created by humidity and temperature, appear overnight and melt away as soon as sunlight warms the air. They are small, fleeting masterpieces winters, whispered artwork left behind in the early hours. Sometimes frost clings to branches and blades of grass, coating them with a thin layer of sparkling white. When the first light of day touches these frozen surfaces, they glow softly. Walking through such a landscape feels like wandering through a world dusted with diamonds. Even the air seems to shimmer, filled with tiny ice particles that catch the light as they drift. Cold air itself carries a unique quality. On winter mornings, each breath feels crisp and sharp, yet refreshing. The air smells cleaner somehow, like distant forests, frozen earth, and the faint promise of snow. Winter air encourages slow breaths, steady and deep, which soothe the mind and calm the senses. For many, simply stepping outside on a quiet December morning, feeling the cold settle gently against the skin, brings a sense of clarity not found in any other season. Even the clouds take on a different character in winter. Thick gray layers stretch across the sky, creating soft, dim light that feels cozy rather than dull. It is the kind of light that invites warm drinks, quiet moments, and long evenings spent indoors. On clearer days, the sky becomes a pale, icy blue, so delicate it looks almost translucent. These skies hold their own serene beauty, a subtle palette perfectly suited to the simplicity of winter landscapes. Winter nights add another layer of calm, especially during the Christmas season. Darkness arrives early, creating long stretches of evening that seem made for rest. The night sky becomes sharper and more vivid when the air is cold. Stars appear clearer, as though the atmosphere has been polished clean. On summer nights, the moon casts a gentle glow over fields and rooftops, turning snow into a glowing carpet of silver light. Standing beneath such a sky can feel like being wrapped inside a quiet universe, where time moves slower and thoughts drift with ease. Of course, winter also brings winds that carry their own kind of poetry. A cold breeze brushing against the face can feel invigorating, a reminder of the season's quiet strength. Wind rustles through bare branches, producing soft, dry whispers that differ completely from the rustling leaves of autumn. These sounds, light and airy, blend into the background of winter nights, forming a subtle music that pairs beautifully with the glow of Christmas lights. There is also something soothing about winter rain. Though often overlooked, rain in December carries a different tone. It taps gently against windows, creating a soft rhythm that fills homes with calm, almost like a lullaby created by the clouds. The reflections on wet streets shimmer beneath street lamps, blending gold and silver hues into dreamy, blurred patterns. Even without snow, winter rain brings atmospherical, reflective, perfect for a cozy night indoors. The contrast between indoor warmth and outdoor cold is part of what makes winter so special. Stepping into a heated room after being outside creates an immediate sense of comfort that wraps around the body like a warm blanket. The scent of warm air mixed with the faint hint of cold lingering on clothes creates a unique fragrance, soft, familiar, deeply nostalgic. It is a moment that quietly reassures us that we are safe, sheltered, and home. Fireplaces also play an important role in winter's beauty. The crackling sound of burning wood, the smoky aroma, and the warm orange glow bring deep relaxation. Watching flames move is like watching a living painting, one that flickers and dances in patterns that never repeat. Firelight softens the room, dissolving stress and inviting a peaceful, meditative state. It's no wonder so many winter memories form beside the fire, wrapped in blankets, watching the flames while outside the cold deepens. Icicles add an almost fairy tale quality to the season. They form slowly as water drips and freezes, creating long glassy shapes that hang from roofs, branches, or railings. When sunlight catches them, they shine like crystal sculptures. Their presence is a quiet reminder that winter shapes the world with careful, delicate artistry, one drop at a time. Even footsteps sound different in winter. Snow crunches softly beneath boots. Frozen grass snaps gently. The cold air carries sound farther, creating an echo-like effect that makes the world feel larger and more open. These small sensory details combine to form the signature soundscape of winter, distinct from any other season. Winter weather brings with it a natural invitation to slow down. The long nights, the quiet days, the softness of snow, the muted colors, they all encourage rest. They create space for reflection, for gratitude, for peaceful moments that linger gently in the heart. And during the Christmas season, this slower rhythm becomes part of the magic, reminding us that even in the coldest months, beauty surrounds us in quiet and comforting ways. Each snowfall, each frosted morning, each pale winter sky becomes part of the season's gentle story. A story told not through noise or celebration, but through stillness and the softest touches of nature's hand. Block 7. The calming traditions of Christmas music. Christmas music carries a softness that seems to settle directly onto the heart, no matter where in the world it is heard, whether drifting through quiet homes, echoing in snowy streets, or playing gently in the background of warm gatherings. Its sound brings a sense of peace. Christmas songs are woven from melodies that feel familiar, even when heard for the first time. Melodies shaped by centuries of winter nights, shared memories, and the human desire for comfort in the coldest season. Their calmness makes them almost like lullabies for the holidays, gently inviting the mind to rest, Many of the earliest Christmas songs were simple hymns, sung by small groups, gathered in candlelit spaces. Voices rose softly into the cold air, blending into warm harmonies that marked the arrival of winter celebrations. These songs were not written to dazzle or impress. They were meant to soothe, to bring people together, and to remind listeners of hope and unity. Their melodies were slow and steady, designed to echo through quiet halls and humble gatherings. Even today, when these ancient tunes are performed, they carry the same comforting aura, gentle as snow falling on still ground. Over time, Christmas music expanded to include carols sung outdoors, often by groups walking from house to house. In the dark of winter evenings, the sound of voices drifting down a street brought warmth long before the singers were even seen. Their harmonies blended with the crisp night air, creating an atmosphere that felt peaceful and communal. Even for those who only listened from inside their homes, the faint sound of carols outside offered a sense of belonging. It was a reminder that no one faced winter alone. The community was close by, singing the season into life. Instrumental Christmas music adds another layer of calm. Soft pianos, delicate bells, gentle strings, and warm acoustics create textures that settle into the atmosphere like a quiet snowfall. The sound of bells in particular carries a beautiful simplicity. Their clear, bright tones feel both serene and joyful, capturing the essence of winter light glinting on snow. They ring gently, never pressing, always welcoming. In many traditions, these bells symbolize guidance through darkness, echoing the ancient practice of ringing bells during winter festivals. To brighten the long nights, the soothing power of Christmas music lies partly in its consistency. Many of the melodies return year after year, familiar as old friends. Their return creates a comforting sense of continuity, as though the music itself is a thread that connects past and present. Hearing the same songs that once played during childhood winters can bring memories fluttering softly back, moments spent decorating trees, warm meals shared with family, quiet evenings spent watching lights glow in the dark. These memories settle into the music like small snowflakes resting on windowsills. Lullaby-like Christmas songs carry a deep sense of tenderness. Their gentle rhythms feel almost like rocking motions, encouraging calm breaths and peaceful thoughts. Songs such as these often focus on themes of nighttime, stars, and silent symmetry that pairs beautifully with the restful tone of the season. Their melodies drift lightly, as though designed not to wake a sleeping child, but to lull an entire room into a state of relaxation. Listening to them on a quiet December night feels like being wrapped in a soft blanket of sound. Even more lively, Christmas music carries a certain warmth. Upbeat songs with cheerful rhythms still maintain a softness beneath their joy. Their melodies sparkle without overwhelming, creating a feeling of celebration that flows easily through kitchens, living rooms, and winter gatherings. These songs brighten the atmosphere the way festive lights brighten dark evenings. They add color to the season, lifting spirits gently rather than loudly. In some cultures, traditional Christmas instruments create unique soundscapes rooted in regional history. Wooden flutes echo through snowy villages. Soft drums carry slow, heartbeat-like rhythms. Small handbells are rung in patterns that resemble the soft chime of icicles in the wind. These instruments produce tones that blend naturally with winter's quiet, turning the season into its own musical composition. Each note feels grounded in tradition, reminding listeners of the deep cultural heritage that shapes Christmas music across the world. One of the most soothing sounds associated with Christmas is the gentle crackle of vinyl records playing old holiday songs. There is something deeply calming about the soft static, the slight warmth in the audio, and the nostalgic atmosphere created by these recordings. They carry the charm of earlier decades, when Christmas music drifted from radios glowing softly in dim rooms. Listening to old recordings makes the world feel slower, gentler, and beautifully simple. Movie soundtracks have also shaped the sound of Christmas for many people. Soft orchestral pieces from holiday films create a sense of warmth and magic, even without words. These melodies are designed to evoke comfort, wonder, and childlike. A single violin or a quiet piano can make a viewer feel wrapped in a moment of calm, reminding them of scenes filled with glowing lights, decorated streets, and snowflakes drifting against city windows. Perhaps one of the most enchanting qualities of Christmas music is how it brings people together. Families gather around pianos to sing. Children learn simple melodies and share them with bright eyes. Friends harmonize, even imperfectly, and find joy in the togetherness of it. In Money Place's communities still gather to sing under open skies, their voices rising into the cold air, warmed by a collective spirit rather than temperature. Music becomes a way to connect, to share warmth through sound, and to create moments that linger gently in memory. Christmas music can also quiet the mind in ways few other sounds can. Playing softly in the background, it fills the room with atmosphere without demanding attention. Its repetitive melodies and predictable rhythms create a sense of safety and stability. Even in busy homes, a peaceful song can transform the energy of a room, slowing everything down, encouraging deep breaths, and allowing moments of reflection to settle naturally. In a season often filled with tasks, events, and bright emotions, Christmas music acts as a gentle anchor. It reminds us to slow down, to breathe, to appreciate small moments. It turns ordinary evenings into peaceful experiences. It transforms rooms into sanctuaries of calm. It softens the darkness of winter and warms even the coldest nights. As melodies drift through the air quiet and familiar, they carry with them generations of comfort. They turn memories into music, and music into rest. And in their gentle embrace, the world feels softer, lighter, and beautifully still. Blog 8. The comforting rituals of Christmas evenings. Christmas evenings carry a serenity unlike any other time of year. As daylight fades earlier and winter nights stretch long and quiet, homes become warm, sanctuaries filled with soft light, gentle sounds, and familiar rituals. These evenings have a way of slowing the heart, calming the breath, and inviting a peaceful stillness that wraps itself around everything. They're the quiet heartbeats of the season moments when the world softens, and the simple act of being present feels like a gift. One of the most soothing rituals of Christmas evenings is gathering around soft, warm lights, whether they come from a Christmas tree, candles, lanterns, or strings of golden bulbs resting on shelves. Their glow changes the entire atmosphere of a room. Harsh brightness gives way to gentle illumination. Shadows deepen, but they do so softly, blending into the dimness rather than hiding within it. These lights create a sense of safety, as though the night outside has been kept at a respectful distance. Sitting in a dimly lit room during a December evening feels like entering a cocoon of calm, where silence can settle comfortably. Warm drinks also play a large part in Christmas evenings. A cup of hot chocolate, spiced tea, mulled cider, or coffee brings warmth, not only to the hands, but to the entire body. Holding a warm mug creates a small moment of steady comfort. The steam rises gently, carrying scents of cocoa, cinnamon, vanilla, or citrus. These aromas drift through the room, blending with pine branches, baked treats, or the faint scent of winter air still lingering on coats hung by the door. Each sip slows the world a little more, grounding the mind in the present. Another treasured ritual is simply sitting near a window and watching the night unfold. In winter, even the darkness carries beauty. Street lamps glow on frosted ground. Christmas lights twinkle in distant houses. Sometimes, flakes of snow drift down silently, catching the warm light as they pass. People walking by leave gentle trails of soft footsteps, muffled laughter, or the quiet rustle of scarves and coats. The world outside becomes a slow-moving scene, like a painting that changes shape with each passing moment. Observing it through a window allows for peaceful reflection, creating a space where thoughts can wander freely. Many people use Christmas evenings to revisit meaningful traditions. It might be placing one last ornament on the tree, lighting an Advent candle, reading a favorite holiday story, or preparing a small dessert passed down through generations. These rituals act as anchors, reliable, familiar, comforting. They remind us that no matter how much the world changes, some traditions remain steady, waiting for us each year with the same gentle embrace. Music often fills these evenings with soft warmth. Gentle Christmas melodies drifting from speakers or instruments transform a room into a quiet sanctuary. The sound of a piano playing in the background, or the soft chime of bells in a favorite carol, merges with the stillness of the night. These sounds create space for calm, letting the mind float lightly through memories and emotions without rushing. Even silence feels different on Christmas evenings, not empty, but full of presence, as though the quiet itself holds meaning. Baking is another tradition that brings comfort as evening settles in. The act of mixing ingredients, kneading dough, or decorating cookies becomes a soothing form of relaxation. The kitchen fills with warm scents that drift into other rooms: vanilla, cinnamon, ginger, chocolate. These aromas settle into every corner of the house, creating an atmosphere that feels nurturing and safe. Even long after the baking is done, the lingering fragrance carries a sense of warmth, as though the home itself were breathing gently. Some people spend Christmas evenings writing cards or messages to loved ones. The act of choosing words, recalling memories, and expressing gratitude becomes a moment of connection strengthened by the quietness of the night. Others spend time wrapping gifts slowly, taking care with each fold and ribbon. These tasks, simple as they are, become meditative rituals, soft, repetitive movements that ease the mind. Families often gather on couches with blankets, watching movies that have become part of the season's storytelling. These films, familiar and comforting, echo with themes of love, kindness, wonder, and second chances. The glow of the screen reflects softly onto faces, blending with the dim light of the room. Even if the story is one we've seen countless times, watching it again becomes a gentle tradition, something known, something warm, something that asks nothing more than to be enjoyed in good company. Conversation on Christmas evenings tends to flow differently. It slows, it softens. Even laughter carries a gentler tone. People talk not in a hurry, but with ease, sharing memories or simply enjoying one another's presence. These conversations, held beneath soft lights and warm blankets, become some of the most cherished moments of the season. They remind us that connection does not always require excitement. At times, it only requires stillness. Fireplaces, if present, bring another layer of comfort. The flicker of flames reflects on walls, ornaments, and windows. The sound of logs crackling creates a soft rhythm, steady and grounding. Sitting by a fire on a winter evening feels like returning to something ancient, something deeply human. The warmth radiates outward, filling the room with a calm that settles into the body, encouraging rest and reflection. Walking outside is another ritual for many. Short stroll through a quiet neighborhood, breathing in the cold night air, watching lights shimmer across lawns and rooftops. The cold brushes the face, awakening the senses, while the peacefulness of the evening invites long, steady breaths. Footsteps crunch softly beneath boots, and the night sky stretches overhead, sometimes clear and filled with stars, sometimes hazy with snowfall. These walks are moments of stillness carved out of the world's movement, a gentle pause before returning to warmth indoors. What makes Christmas evenings so special is not extravagance or noise, but subtlety. They are woven from small details. The glow of lights on a quiet wall, the warmth of a cup between cold hands, the softness of a blanket, the faint sound of a favorite song. the calm of darkness outside a window. Each detail works together to create a moment that feels safe, peaceful, and deeply human. These evenings remind us that rest is not something to be earned, it is something to be invited, something to be welcomed with open hands and quiet hearts. And within the stillness of Christmas evenings, we find gentle reminders of what matters most. Connection, warmth, kindness, and the simple beauty of slowing down. Block 9. The quiet magic of Christmas night. Christmas night carries a kind of magic that feels different from every other night of the year. It is a quiet, gentle magic, not bright, not overwhelming. It settles softly over the world like a veil of calm, turning familiar places into scenes filled with stillness and wonder. Even people who are usually surrounded by noise and hurry feel something shift when Christmas night arrives. Time slows, thoughts soften, and the world seems to breathe in a different rhythm. Outdoors, Christmas night brings an atmosphere that feels almost suspended. Streets grow empty, sidewalks grow still, and the familiar buzz of busy life fades into a distant hush. Houses glow softly with warm light, some with trees visible through their windows, others with strings of golden bulbs outlining rooftops and porches. These lights shimmer against the darkness, their reflections blinking faintly on snow or wet pavement. The quietness is so deep that even small sounds, distant laughter, a passing car, or the crunch of footsteps feel amplified and meaningful. If snow is falling, the magic becomes even more pronounced. Snow drifts gently through the air, moping slowly as though the night itself were taking long, calm breaths. Each flake catches the glow of nearby lights, turning the night sky into a canvas filled with floating, sparkling dots. Falling snow has a way of creating its own silence, a hush so complete that it feels as though the world is listening to itself. Walking outside on such a night feels like stepping into a dream. Every sound softened, every movement slowed, every detail wrapped in peaceful white. Even when the sky is clear and crisp, Christmas night offers its own quiet beauty. Stars appear brighter, as though shining from a closer distance. The moon casts a cool, silver glow over rooftops and trees, creating long, soft shadows that stretch across the ground. The air feels sharper, cleaner, carrying the scent of winter pine, cold earth, and distant fireplaces. A deep breath, taken on a Christmas night, feels grounding, refreshing, and quietly emotional. Inside homes, the atmosphere holds a different kind of enchantment, warm, comforting, intimate. Rooms glow with soft lights from trees, candles, and small lamps. Decorations cast quiet reflections onto walls. The scent of pine branches, cinnamon, vanilla, or smoldering wood lingers in the air, weaving together into a fragrance unique to the season. Even the quietest homes feel full on Christmas night, as though memories from years past gather in the corners, watching over the evening with familiar warmth. Many families have traditions that unfold during these hours. Some gather around the tree to exchange small gifts or share stories. Others enjoy warm drinks while wrapped in blankets, watching the lights shimmer across the room. Children may drift in and out of sleep, tucked into couches or curled up near the glow of a fireplace. Laughter comes softly, conversations slow down, and time feels more forgiving. These traditions, simple as they are, become some of the most cherished moments people carry throughout their lives. Christmas night also offers a rare opportunity for reflection. In the stillness, people often find themselves thinking about the year that has passed, the challenges faced, the small victories, the moments of joy or grief. The quietness invites introspection in a gentle way, never heavy, always patient. Thoughts drift like snowflakes, unhurried and delicate. For many, Christmas night feels like a soft breath between chapters, a pause before the new year begins its steady rhythm. The emotional quality of the night is shaped not only by the present moment, but by memory. Christmas night carries echoes of childhood waiting by windows, listening for distant bells, imagining magic in the dark. Ibn Azadul's glimpses of those early feelings return in small, comforting waves. The warmth of a lit tree, the scent of a familiar recipe, the sound of a soft carolol of these can unlock memories that feel peaceful, gentle, and full of wonder. For those who spend Christmas night in solitude, the night can carry its own unique tenderness. Solitude does not diminish the magic, it simply shifts it. A single candle flickering in a quiet room, a warm blanket draped across the shoulders, or a peaceful walk beneath starry skies can create moments of deep serenity. Christmas night often reminds us that peace can exist even in silence, even in stillness, even in spaces where voices are absent. It is a night that embraces both togetherness and solitude with equal gentleness. Fireplaces, if present, become the emotional center of the night. The flames crackle softly, casting a warm glow that dances across walls and ceilings. The smell of wood smoke blends with holiday scents, creating an atmosphere that feels both ancient and timeless. Watching flames flicker on Christmas night can be surprisingly moving. The shifting light seems to echo the hidden emotions of the season: nostalgia, gratitude, longing, all woven together in the quiet dance of fire. Christmas night also brings a natural sense of closure. Not an ending, but a soft landing. A moment when the world exhales after the rush of preparation, celebration, and anticipation. The night becomes a peaceful reminder that rest is necessary, that quiet has value, and that even moments filled with emotion eventually settle into calm. Those who step outside late on Christmas night often find a world transformed. Streets lie still. Houses glow faintly. The sky stretches overhead in deep, reflective silence. Even the air feels different, as though holding on to something sacred, something gentle. In those quiet moments, standing beneath winter skies, it is easy to feel connected to something larger than oneself. The night becomes a mirror for peace, a canvas for reflection, a sanctuary carved out of winter darkness. Christmas night is a tapestry woven from silence, glow, memory, and emotion. It is not defined by the gifts, the celebrations, or the busy moments of the day. It is defined by the stillness that follows, the serenity that settles when lights dim and voices fade. The way the world seems to pause, offering a moment of rest to anyone who chooses to embrace it. And in that pause, in that gentle quiet, the season reveals its deepest magic. Block Wano, a gentle Christmas goodnight. As this long, quiet journey through the warmth of Christmas begins to settle, let yourself drift into the soft stillness that the season carries. Christmas has always been a time shaped by gentle contrast: light against darkness, warmth against cold, memories against the passing of time. And now, as the night deepens and the sounds of the world grow softer, the calm of this moment becomes its own kind of sanctuary, a place where thoughts can drift freely, where the mind can loosen its hold on the day, and where rest begins to bloom like a small, steady flame. Tonight, the world outside slows to a peaceful hush. Houses sit quietly beneath the winter sky, their windows glowing softly like small lanterns left to guide weary eyes home. Decorations that sparkle brightly during the day now shimmer with a calmer light, their reflections stretching gently across walls and floors. Even the air feels different still, cool and touched by the faint scent of pine or winter wind. Everything seems to whisper that it is time to rest, time to breathe, time to simply be. Inside, comfort gathers like warm blankets layered around the heart. Perhaps you can almost feel the softness of the room, the gentle glow of lights, the subtle warmth lingering in the air, the quiet hum of a peaceful evening settling in. Christmas carries with it a kind of timeless tenderness, a reminder that moments of calm are not only possible, but deeply needed. As you listen, allow those feelings to wrap around you like a gentle embrace. Throughout this journey, you've wandered through memories, stories, traditions, and winter landscapes shaped by light and stillness. Each scene was an invitation to slow down, each detail a small reminder of how beauty exists in quiet places. The season asks for nothing extraordinary, only presence, only breath, only the willingness to rest in the glow of simple things. And if you feel that calm rising within you now, know that it is meant for you. The peace of Christmas does not belong to the noise, but to the stillness. As your breaths grow softer, imagine the night stretching gently around you. Perhaps outside your window the world lies quiet beneath dark skies, or maybe soft lights shine through the glass, coloring the darkness with warm gold. Picture the calm of empty streets, the hush of winter air, the faint glimmer of stars watching from above. Everything moves slower now. Everything feels softer. The world becomes a cradle of silence, rocking gently from one moment to the next. Let your thoughts wander the way snow drifts in a light wind, unhurried, aimless, peaceful. There is no need to hold on to anything right now. Nothing to solve, nothing to fix. Christmas night brings a softness that asks only that you rest, that you allow the weight you've been carrying to loosen, to shift, to melt away like frost under the first touch of morning sun. With every slow breath, feel your body settling deeper into comfort. And if memories rise of past winters, past gatherings, familiar faces from years long gone, let them come gently. Let them pass like lanterns floating down a quiet river. Acknowledge them with warmth, then allow them to drift onward. The season holds space for nostalgia, for hope, for quiet emotion. But it also holds space for release, for silence, for sleep. Now, as you lie here listening, imagine a soft snowfall beginning outside, flakes drifting slowly, silently, each one a tiny shimmering moment of peace. They settle on rooftops, on branches, on gentle lights glowing beneath the night sky. The world grows quieter still, softened by white, wrapped in calm. And somewhere deep inside, that same quiet begins settling within you too, steady, soothing, serene. You have traveled through stories of winter weather, the glow of lights, the traditions of music, the comfort of Christmas evenings, and the peaceful hush of Christmas night. Each block was one more step into this slow descent toward rest. Now, let the journey conclude with nothing more than breath, stillness, and the gentle warmth of this moment. Christmas has always been a season of softened edges, a season where even the coldest nights carry warmth in their glow, and even the darkest hours feel touched by light. As you drift now into sleep, let that light stay with you, not bright or demanding, but quiet and steady, like a single candle flickering gently in the dark. You are safe. You are warm. You are held in the calm of this night. Let your eyes grow heavy. Let your breath slow. Let the peaceful weight of Christmas settle softly around you. And as the night wraps you in its quiet embrace, allow sleep to rise gently like dawn over a snowy field, slow, calm, effortless. Good night. And may the gentle magic of Christmas stay with you as you rest.